Meet Henry Rathbone, a tragic figure intertwined with one of the darkest chapters in American history. His name may not be as widely known as President Lincoln's, but his story is equally compelling. In every photograph capturing the attempt to save President Lincoln's life, there stands Henry Rathbone, a haunting presence frozen in time. Despite his desperate efforts, history tells us he couldn't prevent the tragic outcome. But what many overlook is the anguish that followed him long after that fateful night. Haunted by survivor's guilt, Rathbone descended into a spiral of mental turmoil. It was a descent that culminated in a harrowing act of violence, the brutal murder of his own wife. In a moment of delirium, he turned on the person closest to him, inflicting unspeakable harm. His subsequent trial only added to the tragedy. Found not guilty by reason of insanity, Rathbone was consigned to spend the remainder of his days within the confines of a mental institution, a poignant reminder of the toll that trauma can take on the human mind. Yet, the tragedy didn't end with Rathbone. Consider the fate of President Lincoln's wife, who endured unimaginable loss that night. Bereft of not just her husband, but also 3 of her beloved sons, she was plunged into a relentless abyss of grief. Her mourning knew no bounds, as she draped herself in the solemnity of black, a symbol of her perpetual sorrow. But perhaps most tragic of all is the realization that the true perpetrator of this collective suffering was not just the assassin's bullet, but the specter of violence that echoes through the annals of history. In a single, fateful act, John Wilkes Booth shattered countless lives, leaving in his wake a legacy of pain and heartache that would endure for generations. In the end, the story of Henry Rathbone serves as a somber reminder, a testament to the enduring power of tragedy and the resilience of the human spirit in the face of unimaginable adversity. It's a story that begs to be remembered, not merely for its sorrow, but for the lessons it imparts about the fragility of life and the importance of empathy in an often cruel world.